Hey guys, so before we get started, I just want to announce the winner of the Mail Day contest. This individual wins a set of Jihu bearings as well as some orangutan nipples, either orange or purple of their choice, and I'm throwing in some decals in there. So the winner of that is Kyle Anders, who did comment loaded and is also a subscriber. So congratulations, Kyle. If you want a chance to win, all you have to do is hit subscribe and stay on top of all my videos. Speaking of videos, let's get on with the review. Okay guys, so today we have a very special video as always and a very special announcement. Recently I've been in contact with ShredLights, and if you don't know them, they're a company that make lights for boosted boards and longboards. Recently they've expanded a little bit more outside of that, and they now provide lights for one wheels, and they're going to be doing some awesome stuff in the near future. They were kind enough to once again support me and my channel, as well as support my local e-skate group. And if you look behind me here on the shelf, you'll see a bunch of boxes of SL200s, and that is because they have sent me an entire night ops pack, and they've sent me a couple spares there. So we're gonna put those all on. We're gonna compare them to the originals as far as brightness, the options, what they look like. I'm gonna show you what's happened to my old ones since I got them 2 years ago. And then we're gonna take them for a ride with the Vancouver e-skate group. And then I'm gonna tell you guys how you can win a set of SL200s of your own through me and my channel. Every product has its good and every product has its bad. So it's my job to point out both, and that's exactly what I'm going to do in this video. There's going to be no biases. I'm going to tell you what I actually think about them. For my front lights, I just got the standard mounts. And then for the rear lights though, I did get the angled mounts because they do fit on my boosted V2, which is what I'm rocking right now. As far as installing the rears, some people can find it to be difficult. A lot of people think it's easy, and then they start doing it and they're like, why can't I get my motors in? Why can't I plug anything in? And it's just, you got to do it a specific way. Disconnect everything. Put your mounts on. Align your motor cords. Plug them in first, then slip, like you'll see this one will be slipped in already. Plug them in and then push them into the actual casing. Then all you have to do is just flip your truck over and you're good to go. Rear mounts are essentially already mounted. I'm gonna finish this sucker off and then we'll just do the front ones right after. Now the hardest screws to get to are the rear trucks, the front two screws that are between the motor and the truck. So you wanna come around from down here. It's on top there, and it's okay that it's slightly slanted because now I can take the tool, I'm gonna come in from the top and we're gonna find that, boom, I got it in. A lot of people, they're not savvy with their boards when they first get this stuff, so I hope that for some of you who have had issues installing your ShredLights, that rectifies that for you. For the front ones, it's gonna be a little bit different. What you're gonna do is you're gonna install them on top of your trucks, okay, not between. Okay, so we've installed all the brackets. Let's get the lights. The beautiful thing about these guys is they should be pre-charged. Yep, they are pre-charged, so you can use them right away if you want. You can see just a couple decals and then the USB charger. So just like that, and that's it. So installation process on the board for the most part was easy and straightforward. I am going to install the light onto my helmet. The nice thing about the helmet is that it does have an actual, I guess, anchor point where it will adjust and can move, and it uses the same sort of screws that you would use for your GoPro casings and stuff. There. And they do also give you a flat mount, so whether you put it on a curved surface or a flat surface, keep that in mind. And you also have a spare screw, it seems. So what it essentially looks like is this. I could just rotate it like this, and this how I see. Now, one suggestion I will make is before you place it on, put your helmet on and just make sure that when you do this, it's not like blinding you or anything, or you're not seeing any problems. Next up, we are going to compare the lights from the original ShredLights, which I have right here, alongside the actual new ShredLights, which are obviously on my board. If you look at my older sets here, you could definitely see in comparison to the new set, for example, the new set is a bit longer, but the actual width of them are still the same. The other thing that you'll notice is a lot of my old ShredLights have torn edges. This is a broken rear light, for example, so it doesn't clip into its teeth as it should. However, on the newer ones, we have this different format of casing. It looks very similar to the end of a pen cap. It's got this bar right here and it just slides in and out. I believe that causes very little wear and tear. It's a lot easier to get on and off in comparison to the old ones. I believe stretching out is what causes these tears to happen, and it's kind of unavoidable. So ShredLights has rectified that with the new style format here. Also, another thing to note is the USB part where you charge. It just pops off right there and you can connect. They did this so they could allow you to actually charge while keeping it on your board, but the length of the new USB cables aren't even that much longer than the originals. They're almost the same size, I think. You have to be really close to an outlet and you kind of got to angle it right. Either way, it's just take it off and charge it. That being said, when I first got these, I will make mention that I thought this outer rim was a cap and I was trying to pull from here. I didn't know that it was inside, so maybe keep that in mind if you do get these. Don't make the same mistake I did. The original ShredLights had 3 modes, which I actually loved: on, dim, and flicker, or strobe mode. The newer ones, however, have on, full, flicker, different kind of strobe effect, another strobe effect, and then on again. You push both buttons to turn it off, or you hold one button and that'll turn it off as well. It's definitely a lot brighter than the originals. The other thing that I noticed is we had this LED at the top here. That is no longer there. Instead, when it's charging, you are going to rely on the light that's on the inside that turns from red to green, and that's just automatically lit when you plug in to your charge outlets. The other thing I want to discuss is the fact that the charge outlets are a lot easier to plug in and they hold a lot better. But the new ShredLights are not without its problems. And there was one problem that I foresaw right away, and it is these bands. Now, these bands are meant to show you that the black band is for the front lights and the red band is supposed to represent the rear lights, you know, red light, right? And that's all great. It's good to know which light is which, but as soon as I opened this box, I knew that this band is going to be the first thing that's going to get destroyed somehow on these lights, and I was not wrong, as one of my rear bands did break off. Luckily, it caught itself between my board and the ShredLight itself when it broke off. I'm not sure how it happened. I wish that instead of maybe using these bands, they actually colored the lip of the casing of the ShredLights, or maybe just had the SL200 written in red instead of black. Something like that would have been a lot easier and would probably last a lot longer. Okay guys, so as you can see, I have my ShredLights SL200s right next to my original ShredLights. We are seeing how long these suckers last. As this time progresses, I've cut this video down just to make it a lot easier. What you'll notice happens is both sets of ShredLights start to dim slowly. So although they say it lasts for 10 hours, it probably does. I stopped the video at the 4-hour mark just because it seemed like at that point both sets were done. I put them side by side to make it a lot easier for you guys to see how much the ShredLights actually dimmed over the 4 hours of time that I left them on. Just keep that in mind where they say 10 hours, like lasts up to 10 hours. It's lasting up to 10 hours. Probably the light will be on still at that point, but understand that even at the 4-hour mark, my original ShredLight was still turning on, but that doesn't mean that it was lighting up the area. So just take that with a grain of salt, but it does definitely stay lit and it does definitely make you more visible. So next up we have the charge time test. So I have depleted these batteries completely. The lights were not on. They were all completely dead when I originally plugged them in. So as you can see, we continue on. It goes on for about an hour and a half to 2 hours when the original ShredLights actually light up in green to show that they are fully charged. But you can see that the SL200s are still taking their time charging. We hit about the 2-hour mark, which is what's stated on the box, and then it went to 2 hours and 5 minutes, and then 2 hours and 10 minutes. And at that point, I'm like, okay, if it turns on now, then I'll classify that as 2 hours for sure. But then it went to 2 hours and 20 minutes. The first light turns green at 2 hours and 35 minutes, and the second light follows that at 2 hours and 43 minutes. Now, just to be clear, I did this test twice, and the second time, the first light turned on at 2 hours and 34 minutes, and the second light turned on at 2 hours and 42 minutes. I'm going to tell you that although the box says it charges in 2 hours, it really charges closer to the 2 hour 40 minute mark. Next up, water test. So what I did here was unexpected. I accidentally got caught in the rain riding my board one day. I got drenched, my board got drenched, and I noticed that one of my headlights was just flickering and acting wobbly and wonky, and I didn't even have it on, and it was turning on by itself. Then it would shut off by itself, and then it wasn't turning on at all. And I went the whole day thinking that my ShredLight had water damaged, and I was surprised. On the box, it does state that it's water resistant. Now, water resistant doesn't mean waterproof, but still a little bit downsided that, oh, I just wrecked one of my headlights. However, it was water resistant enough where what happened was, if you look at the footage that I'm probably showing right now, you could see some moisture inside the lens of that light. It was acting funky, it was like strobing, and then it would actually work, and then I would turn it on and try to turn it off, and it wouldn't turn off. A lot of funky things happened, but over the course of 3 days, I realized that it was drying itself, and it was slowly reconnecting and working again. And 3 days later, it started to work normally. So it is water resistant for sure, and I'd say it's actually really good because I did get drenched. I'll show a photo of at least my pants that day and my shorts. I had already changed out of jeans into those shorts, and they got drenched too. The ShredLight survived. That being said, it did take a few days for it to sort of recalibrate itself or figure itself out, but at the end of the day, it still works. So I'm going with that. If your ShredLight SL200 tends to fail on you for water damage, I just suggest give it a few days, let it dry itself out, and then go from there if it doesn't fix itself. So now we're taking the lights into the storage area where I've done a few extra comparison tests. I just want to really show you guys the difference in the lighting. I think that's also important. So let's go to those clips. I wanted to show what the ShredLights show on the road that you guys don't get. It's not just that they light your path, it shows all the indentations in the roads. So all these cracks that you see that are on my tiles right now, all those indentations, those are things that you don't see if you don't have those lights on. And it's really important, I can't stress it enough, how many times I probably nearly bailed simply because I didn't see a crack. That's the added benefit. The originals are a bit more of a warmer color. They don't obviously show as much in brightness and distance. If you look at the video of me riding around on the boosted board with these SL200s on there, you'll totally notice that it's totally lighting up the area around me, not just the area in front of me. Alright, so we've installed the ShredLights, we've compared the ShredLights, we've done a group ride with the ShredLights and checked them out, and now it's time for the final thoughts. What do I think? Should you upgrade to the new SL200s? And the answer, in my opinion, is yes. Now, whether you get the Night Ops pack or you don't is on you, but here's what I will say. These headlights are much brighter, I can't stress that enough, than their originals. They do last a lot longer, they do look a lot sleeker and a lot nicer. They're a little bit heavier too, which I kind of feel like makes them feel a little more durable. Now let's talk about the helmet light. Really like the helmet light, especially when I was filming at night. If you notice on the ride portion of this video, I'll take a snapshot of Kevin riding on his one wheel, for example. I'm right behind him and I get this light on him, and it's a lot easier for me to film these night rides, especially with that headlight, because I could just move the light to where I want to film, and because I'm using a GoPro, it kind of lights up the area. So on top of being seen, on top of helping me see all the cracks on the roads, that light is also useful for filming at night. So it comes with this little clip thing here. You could see mine is broken and I accidentally broke it. I don't know what happened. Essentially what happens is the light slides in here like this, and I slid it in. I kind of put it on the helmet and then I went to take it off and it wouldn't come off, and I didn't know it was wrong. I pulled it off the helmet and then I kept trying to get it off and it was stuck in there. The pivot point kind of casing broke off, so that's kind of a shame. I did have a spare to use, so that's okay. That's just one thing that might be flawed, I don't know. If you do film at night, if you are going to use your Night Ops pack and you're going to be filming with your GoPro, for example, group rides or whatever it may be, I highly do recommend getting the Night Ops pack, especially for that helmet light. It really did help. The other thing is, though, you know, don't make ShredLights be your end-all be-all. I definitely recommend you have ShredLights on your board, but what you have on your helmet and what you have on your bag and all that jazz is all up to you. I definitely think that this will improve and enhance your ride. It really lights up the area around me, so for that fact, I do recommend them. And if you are going to buy them, please use the code Mahyar10, M-A-H-Y-A-R, and then the number 10, 10, and get yourself an extra 10% off as a thank you from me and a thank you from ShredLights. Now, if you want a chance to win a set of ShredLights, all you have to do is two things. One, subscribe to my channel. If you're already subscribed, you're already one step ahead of everyone else. The second thing you need to do, comment down below. I just want to know what feature you guys like best about the new ShredLights and why. Thank you guys for watching the video. I really appreciate it, and we'll see you guys next time. Peace out.